This video will demonstrate how to create drawing sheets and views within a drawing sheet using AutoCAD. So far what you have been doing in AutoCAD has been doing all your drawing in what's called the model space. So this is where you've been making all your two-dimensional or three-dimensional drawings depending on what level you've gotten to. The way drawings are documented or printed is on drawing sheets. So each drawing sheet looks something similar to the sample that you've seen here before. What you see here is one page, specifically page 3, of probably multiple pages. Each of these pages is a different set of detailed drawings that documents the building design. This particular one is for a foundation, so this is what you'll be creating at the end of this is a drawing sheet for your foundation plan. I'll be asking you to include two views, one your foundation plan view, which is the top view, and then one view of your section view, which is a detail view, all on the same sheet. Notice this sheet here has multiple views. You have a foundation plan, an elevation, a side elevation, and 4 details, and also some other notes and whatnot in the background. Notice there's also a title block here. This company would probably have a standard title block. Notice there's a logo here and some other information about the page, the site, and so on and so forth. So we're going to use one of the standard templates in AutoCAD to do that. And this is what's going to show you. This is what I'll show you. Notice on here though that there's different scales of each of the views. So this view here has a title for it. So this is the footings and foundation plan. There's a scale which you can't see at the zoom, but it's 1/4 inch equals a foot. These down here are scaled at a 1/2 inch equals a foot, which is noted in one of these small notes that's too small to see on this particular screen. So to go ahead and do this, from AutoCAD we have our model space here. So here's a foundation plan that I'm using as my sample. First thing you have to do is create a new layout. So if you click on these that are here by default, you get this kind of random paper size. You want to make a specific, this paper size here should match the actual paper size that you're going to be printing your plans on in real life. We're not actually printing these. We're going to print them to a PDF, but we still want to be specific for our paper size. That's also known as the sheet size. So to do that, we're going to right click on one of these, doesn't matter which one, and we're going to go to new layout from template. So I select the from template. In this, we'll get this drop down menu, and we're going to select sheet sets. So double click that, and then there's several options. We're going to use the architectural Imperial. Imperial is the US system. So I'll click OK. Notice it's a DWT file, a drawing template. Hit open. Only one option here. You could add more sizes if you wanted to, but for ours we'll just use the ArcD, which is 24 by 36. That's 2 foot by 3 foot, rather large piece of paper. Hit OK, and now notice we have this new tab down here on new sheet called the ArcD. We can right click on that and rename it. Let's call it Foundation Plan, and now this is renamed to Foundation Plan. Each of these tabs down here would correlate to each sheet that you have in a set of plans. So if you have 50 pages, you'd have 50 sheets down here. Then what's convenient about doing this is that A, they're all linked. So if you make a change in one drawing, it'll update through any dependent drawings throughout. And B, if you want to print all these pages, rather than printing each page one at a time, you can just select from the plot menu to print all sheets. That's another lesson, to print them. Anyway, we're just working with one right now. So notice on this is 24 by 36 in size. Can't really tell that, but take my word for it. Here you have this is the generic title block that was created by Autodesk. Some notes, date, project name and address, and so on. So I'd ask that you fill this out with relevant information. If you don't know an address, make one up. Also there's a date here on the bottom corner, and this is the Architectural Imperial template. So now I want to go into creating viewports. So from within this sheet we have this layout tab. So you want to make sure that that's active by clicking on the layout tab here at the top. Inside of here we're going to make what's called a new viewport inside the sheet. So if I go back to the sample here, each of these drawings is a separate viewport. So I probably have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 viewports in this sheet. We're only going to make 2, one for the foundation plan and one for a section view. So I just go ahead back to my layout tab on foundation plan, click the rectangular viewport, and then I just draw an arbitrary size box to start. Okay, something like so. Now automatically after I draw that, it brings up everything from from my model space. So what I want to do now is activate this so I can zoom and pan this to show the information that I only want to show. So I'm only interested in seeing this foundation plan. So if I double click this, double click inside the viewport, notice I get my grid lines and I get my view cube. So now I can use the mouse to zoom in and pan to show what I only want to see on here. So once I get at the approximate size, I double click outside of it, anywhere in the white space. Again, double click anywhere in the white space to deactivate the view. Then I click on the boundary of this, the perimeter of this, which may take a little fine tuning to find it. Notice it highlights in blue here. Now right click in properties. So again, I single clicked on this boundary, single left click to get it highlighted like this. That means I selected the viewport. Then I right clicked and went to properties. Now you can see, first off, you have the viewport is selected because in your properties this is a viewport. If it says something different here, make sure that you have something else selected. So in your viewport, now you want to verify the scale. So once this is selected, it says standard scale here is custom. That's because I just zoomed into something specific. So now I want to hit the drop down menu here and scroll down until I see the standard architectural scales. Notice as I hover over this previews at different scales. So it looks like 1/4 inch, maybe even 3/8 of an inch to a foot would fit on this sheet. So I'm going to select 3/8 of an inch equals a foot, but now I need to change my viewport size to fit only the information I want. So to do that now, I'm going to go back here, click on these toggle points, and adjust the size of my viewport to fit this information, what I want to see only. Notice again, I only want to see my foundation plan in this viewport. So I'm clicking and dragging these until I get the size that I want. I can move it somewhere else on the paper if I want to. This is what I want. So now that's set. Now that I have it set, I want to lock this so I don't accidentally move it, because as soon as I zoom in or zoom out on this, it's going to change the zoom, which will change the scale. So then I go back to my properties menu here, and I change display locked from no to yes. Now I can't move it. If I try and zoom in and zoom out, activate the tab, it doesn't move anymore because it's locked. And I can escape to cancel my selection, and then I could move it. Also in this, I'm going to activate this one more time by double clicking on it. I want to turn off the grid so I don't see all the grid lines. Just hit activate it and turn the grid off, and double click outside of it to deactivate it. So this is my first view here. I want to position this on a different part of my paper, so I'm just going to move this by using the move command. Pick a base point, and I'm going to move it to the left a little bit to place it over here. I just went to the Home tab within my drawing to do that. I'm going to go back to the Layout tab. I'm going to repeat the process one more time for the Detail view. So I click on New Viewport, Rectangular, draw a box where I want my new viewport. Okay, it'll mix the whole thing again. Double click to activate. This time I'm going to zoom in on the Detail view. This is what I want. By the way, yellow font shows up great with a black background, but on white paper it's terrible to see. So whoever this is, you're going to want to change your font color. Now with that active, double click outside of it. Select the viewport again by clicking on the border. Then I notice I'm going to go to Custom Scale here and probably use something like a 1/2 inch equals a foot is my guess for size. So if I preview over these, 1/2 inch equals a foot's too small. I can even go 3/4 inch. Actually 1 inch equals a foot looks most appropriate. So I select that, lock the viewport again, and there it is. And I can adjust the size of it to filter out anything else I don't want to see. Escape to cancel it. I can move this where I want. Last step to this is to add a title block for each of these. So to do that, I'll go back to my Home tab, use my text command and line tools to draw a title block underneath each one that tells me what it is. So this one's foundation plan with a scale. This one would be section view, which is referenced to these numbers in here, with the scale next to it as well. Fill out the title block, then I can go ahead and print this as a PDF to look something like this and submit that probably to Google Classroom when I'm done. Thank you for watching.